welcome to AFRICUNIA television, reaching from our studio here in the nation's commercial capital, Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Deborah Ezeh. Many thanks for joining me. We begin from Nigeria, where a combined team of soldiers, operatives of the Department of State Service and the police have been deployed in Kaduna to locate and possibly rescue passengers abducted by terrorists who attacked the Kaduna to Abuja train on Monday. It was learned that the federal government had given the Nigerian Air Force express approval to deploy the Super Tucano aircraft in the northwest of it, with conditions that collateral damage be minimized. It was gathered that the special team was given express order to locate the abductors' camp and do everything operationally possible to rescue the hostages with minimal losses. Governor El-Rufai of Kaduna State yesterday restated his call for massive bombardment of all forest inhabitants by terrorists. He said it would contain current security challenges in the country. The governor made the call at a stakeholder meeting in Giwa, Kaduna, where the terrorists had been invading communities in the last 5 days, with many people killed and kidnapped. According to the governor, the magnitude of the present security challenges in the northwest is much more than what was witnessed in the northeast. He said famine had become impossible while lives were being lost to incessant attack by terrorists. And still in Nigeria, in business, Nigeria's external reserve fell by $313 million in March, according to figures obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria on Thursday. The CBN's figures show that the foreign exchange reserves, which commenced on March 1, 2022 at 39.86 billion naira, fell to 39.55 billion naira. Following the invasion of Ukraine by Russian forces, crude oil prices have continued to fluctuate as the global energy sector continues to experience disruption. Brent crude oil, against which Nigerian oil is priced, which has jumped above $100 per barrel, hit 120 as of Thursday. Governor Emefiele at the last Monetary Policy Committee meeting expressed concern over oil production and external reserves and the effects of massive oil theft on the oil sector. Emefiele, however, said collaboration with the Bankers Committee was working to boost non-oil exports through raise with $200 billion. And in Tunisia, people on the streets of Tunisian capital expressed distrust in their elected representative Thursday, a day after the president dissolved parliament and the blow to the North African country Young Democracy. President Saied announced the decision to dissolve parliament in a televised address after lawmakers led by the opposition Islamist Party held a virtual section seeking to annul moves by the leader last year to assume sweeping powers. Among those moves, Saied suspended the activities of parliament, which is not officially convened since July. Saied argued at the time that the country was facing imminent peril because of protests and economic crisis, and he has governed the country by decree ever since. And still on the African scene, Angola announced on Thursday the suspension of salaries of striking doctors who represent the vast majority of the profession in the country and have been demanding better working conditions for 10 days. The doctor union called the strike after 20 children died in a single day at a pediatric hospital in the capital, Luanda. The deaths were caused by a shortage of medicines and medical equipment, according to the organization's president, Adriano Manuel, who was fired for raising the alarm. Doctors denounced hospital in lack of materials, medicine, and accused the government of building new establishments without providing staffs. And moving away from the African scene onto the foreign scene, a fire broke out at a fuel storage facility in the Russian city of Belgorod, located close to Ukrainian border, Regional Governor Eguavoen said. 2 days after the province was rocked by blasts at an ham depot. 2 people were hurt in Friday's fire, Eguavoen said on Telegram, and residents of the 3 city streets were being evacuated. Eguavoen said this week that the ham's depot explosion were believed to be as a result of another fire, although he said the regional authorities was awaiting confirmation from the Defense Ministry. Ukraine has now claimed responsibility for any of the incidents. And in Australia, torrential rain has flooded town on Australia's east coast on Friday, but a combination of 2 intense weather systems generated wild winds and huge waves at several tourist spots, including Sydney's northern beaches. Water levels are gradually receding in the worst hit towns, with some residential returning to their homes to take stock of the damage, though more than 20,000 people remain under evacuation orders, Emergency Service said. Tens of thousands of people had to flee from their homes this week for the second time in a month, after relentlessly rain triggered flash flood and river burst their banks. The death toll from the rains that began early this week rose to 3 on Friday after a 55-year-old woman who had gone missing in the floodwater in northern New South Wales was found dead. And still on the foreign scene, 2 aircraft of South Korea's Air Force collided in mid-air on Friday during a training exercise, killing 3 pilots, with a 4th missing in the rare incident, authorities said. More than 30 firefighters and rescuers had begun a search at the crash site. Despite the attempt at an emergency escape, it is said in a statement, adding that it has formed a new team to determine the cause of the accident and damages. And moving on to the sports scene, following the failure of the Super Eagles of Nigeria to qualify for the 2022 FIFA World Cup, the erstwhile technical advisor, Eguavoen, has stepped down from that position with immediate effect. The NFF has in the meantime withdrawn the 2.5-year contract offered the coaches and terminated the appointment of the entire technical crew of the team with immediate effect. A new crew will be announced after a proper review to lead the new change or charge of reinvigorating the Super Eagles to face super challenges appropriately, the Federation said. Eguavoen led the Nigerian Golden Eaglet to crash out in the group stage of the FIFA Under-17 World Cup at Finland 2003, the worst ever record at that time. Eguavoen led the Super Eagles to crash out in the round of 16 at the last African Cup of Nations held in Cameroon, one of the worst participation in the tournament. And finally, the Qatar World Cup Supreme Committee were forced to hit back at the president of the Norwegian FA after she publicly criticized the country's poor human rights record at the FIFA Congress in Doha. Accusations concerning the treatment of migrant workers and the poor record of human rights have plagued Qatar since it was controversially awarded the World Cup finals 12 years ago. Meanwhile, concerns have also been raised about female and LGBTQ supporters being able to attend the finals, given male homosexuality is punishable by a prison sentence, same-sex marriages are not recognized by the government, and women's rights are much more restricted than in other parts of the world. And it's a wrap from us on news updates on AFRICUNIA television. Do ensure to follow all our social media platforms on Jointum, Pangram, Instagram, and Facebook in their respective order. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit our website on www.africunia.tv to stay connected and updated to news and other programs. Once again, I am Deborah Ezeh. Have a beautiful weekend.